And I did turn up my mic volume. I'll have to see how it turns out after this one. But, as you may have noticed on the last one, for anyone watching, I do have a tendency to let the game's audio play over my own. Which I know some people may or may not like, but I do try not to step on a game story when it's present. You know, something like XCOM, yeah, you can pretty much rattle off as much as you want, but with a story-oriented game, you want to sit back and let the game tell its story, especially while you're playing it. Loading screen's about as long as before, so not unexpected. And here we go. And time for the God of Illusion. Oh, I could go back into there if I wanted.
Valravan, ancestor of the seers and master of ravens. He hunts his prey with his powers of illusion and feasts on their remains. Follow the path to Valravan and defeat him in battle to earn his mark. The gate to Helheim cannot be opened without it.
Ooh, that's a little creepy. This really is a gorgeous game, too. It's also single player, so they don't have to try spending as much on character models and the like, but still. They did quite a bit with limited, or comparatively limited resources.
Ymir was a frost giant, a being of darkness, and all his sons and grandsons were dark after him. Of his daughters and granddaughters, some were monstrous, but others fair.
Including Loki's mother, I'm assuming.
But there was another who came from the ice. Buri. In shape, he was like a man, big and powerful. His son, Bor, took a fair giant to be his wife, and they had 3 sons. Odin was the eldest, and the Northmen hold him to be the foremost of the gods, the All-Father.
Huh. I never realized that all of the Norse gods were descended from the frost giants. Neat. Oh, got a little portal set up there. Oh, here we go.
Illusion hides the path to Valravan. Don't trust your eyes. Find another way to see the truth.
No. I thought he basically burned alive in the last portion, though, but apparently not.
It's a door.
Oh boy.
Push it down. Come on.
This isn't gonna go well.
She did it.
It's funny. We all want to see behind the veil, don't we? Once we do, we mostly just close our eyes again and pretend what we saw was never really there.
Oh, except Senwa, who just walked right through it. I'm trying to see whether there's more sights like her mother's face in the waterfall. I'm assuming there are, but not sure where. I'm trying to avoid missing any.
Senua never could close her eyes. However hard she tried. Begged.
This is ominous. Nice little crack of thunder there, and... oh, I'm actually able to... right off the bat.
This is the price she pays for seeing things differently. Because once you gaze into the relentless darkness, all that lurks within it can see you too.
Bit of nature right there. For those unfamiliar, the full quote is, "He who fights monsters must beware, lest he become a monster. For if you gaze long into the abyss gazes also into you." There we go. Hopefully I do a little better against the shield man this time.
They're winning. Watch out. He's gone. Find a good position. Let them surround you. Take him down. Take him down now.
Ooh, that wasn't the best time to block it. Ow.
Finished.
Yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't used it there, but oh well.
The Northmen will not stop her. She will find what she's looking for.
Valravan's power of illusion comes from ravens. Align the ravens to break his magic seal.
Show me what you have seen, Truth.
Look how much it's changed. It's all different.
Not sure where I need to be for this one. Oh,
To break the seal, align the ravens
the hell did that
with the
open?
mark of Valravan.
gotta admit, this is trippy. Though I'm not entirely sure what the fire effects are about, unless that might be how she or Dillion died. There we go.
Something's shifted. Something's happened. Something huge shifted. Can you feel it?
I'm just waiting for another enemy to pop out. I'm a little curious about why this skull is... Oh, yeah, because that's where I had to walk through before. Now I figured that out. A little belatedly.
Do you feel it too? It's like crossing into another world that looks the same, but feels different. An imposter world, where the forest itself is watching.
It always throws me off when I hear those voices in just one of the headphones, instead of, in dual audio. And those are eyes. Whew. Yeah, I guess the forest is watching. Though it's also eerily quiet over here. Oh no, that was because I had it zoomed in. Alright, so there's more of the ravens I need to
Another gate. Another gate.
angle correctly.
You know what to do. Stay back. You have to open it. It's not safe. Don't listen
To
to
break
this.
the seal, align the ravens with the mark of Valravan.
Alrighty.
What does it mean?
I gotta get up there, though I'm not entirely sure how.
Can't you see them?
Huh, here we go. Yep.
Line up the ravens.
I'll head elsewhere to see if I can find anything interesting. Oh,
I hear something.
If you hear the song of Valravan, follow it, and it will lead you to him. But be aware of his illusions. You can't always trust your eyes.
just gotta take
Listen, focus. Focus.
the atmosphere at this point.
Valravan, challenge me.
He's
I
gone.
doubt that's actually
Where did he go? Where is he? It's not your fault.
Scarecrow. Oh. Man, that is a trippy sound effect they're using for his song. Alright. What's down here? And nothing. More eyes on the trees. Vanish if you focus in on them. Yeah, he's not going to be there this time.
Fight me!
Is she lost? Wouldn't be the first time. Last winter, before the tragedy, she journeyed into the wilds of her native land, living off berries, roots, and rabbits. It's not uncommon, you see. We call such a person a Gelt. Some people become Gelt in search of penance. Others, like Senua, to purge a curse. Those who make it back are forever changed.
Oh, there's the door I tried opening earlier. So I wonder why Senua became a Gelt. that has... That's gonna come into play later, just not sure how. While the subtitles are handy, I'm also worried that they're spoiling the game a bit for me.
She can get up now. What's happening? She can get up. It must be magic. A trick. Raven. Tricking her. Raven. How can she get up?
Bait.
It's him.
Dark magic draws her closer.
It's not him. He's
There's
helping
gotta
her.
be
It's
a
not
reason for
him.
this.
It's a trick. She's doing it on her own. He's not tricking her. It's magic. It's an illusion.
I mean, seriously, I can't... With how well crafted this game is, I can't imagine that this is a false lead. Maybe it comes into play later. There we go. Actually, I gotta wonder if that's gonna reset this back here. Oh, it might be the other one, come to think of it. Actually, yeah, it's probably the other one. Since that'll be looking directly at it, and I now have a way to actually get up there. Oh yeah, I now have a path over. Pretty sure. Looks like that's now a solid wall. I'll just run right across. Yep. Man, they're crafty.
The Northmen say that Odin and his brothers killed Ymir, and that the world of men was formed from his corpse. They made his bones into stone, and his flesh into earth, and his blood into the salt sea. They set his skull to be the bowl of the sky, with his brains for clouds.
That is metal as
Odin
hell.
and his brothers caught the sparks flying from Muspel and made them into stars. And to protect the new world from the giants, they used Ymir's great curving eyebrows as walls.
You know, it's kind of weird that that's what set me off on the "yeah, right" alarm. That someone's eyebrows, that a giant's eyebrows were used as walls of the world. I am still kind of anticipating the next combat. Because it feels like it's been a little bit.
We picture fear, and we think of a shadow in the woods, a creature in the night. If only it were that simple. The worst kind comes without warning. A deep and primal signal from within. A reminder that just because you cannot see the threat, it doesn't mean that it's not already here.
I'm kind of anticipating a jump scare now.
She can't go in. She can't go in there. Like that? Valravan, he's there. She can't go in. Has to find another route.
Truth says there's always another route.
Find a way.
Boy, that one took a while to
Find your own
connect.
path.
There's a different way.
Oh! Oh! Crap.
She's hurt. There's blood.
Oh, damn it. That's one death, I believe. Or was there a way to avoid that? I kind of doubt it, but yeesh. Okay, so don't have any program or anything, but death counter 1. Hoping there's no alternate ending for getting through without a single death. Down. Well. Then again, it might have already counted as the first death with that initial one. Alright, come on, buddies. Where the hell... Wait. There we go. What the hell? I evaded! Okay, it'd be helpful if... It'd be nice if I... Okay. Okay, so it's kick, and I can then start attacking. Boy, that was a lot easier than I had thought. And I'm feeling a little silly for having failed that badly last time, then. Ow.
They're overwhelming.
Okay, can I... Okay, middle mouse click. Ah. Not sure how I parried mid-strike. Ow. Ow. Okay. So yeah, middle mouse click swaps which target you're on. Huh, spiffy. And F can kick their shield away, which honestly I should have figured that one out before.
The Northmen say you must sacrifice in order to receive. They tell how the runes were revealed to Odin only in sacrifice. He hung himself from the world tree, and he stabbed himself with a spear, and he dedicated the sacrifice to himself. For 9 nights he hung on the tree without food or drink, and at last he saw the runes below him. He gave a cry, and gathered them in his mind, and learnt them. Then he fell from the tree.
So apparently knowledge is power. Okay, I mean, these various sites I'm seeing... Gotta be that our home village was raised at some point. Though the particulars are now... Well, I'm assuming they'll be revealed at some point.
Do you know what it's like to leave everything behind? Your home, loved ones, to head deep into the wilds, perhaps never to return. Senua does. Because when darkness speaks, it changes everything. Turning home into a foreign land and loved ones into strangers. Exile makes sense when you realize that you were never really home in the first place.
So she was apparently exiled.
The Northmen say that Odin is always in search of knowledge and wisdom and magic. There was a very wise being named Mimir, who guarded the waters of wisdom which flow from the roots of the World Tree. Odin wished to drink from this spring, but he had to pay a price. So he gouged out his own eye as offering to Mimir. He drank from the well and traded one way of seeing for another.
Kind of sad that Mimir, not sure if I'm pronouncing it right either way, but yeah, I recognize that name from World of Warcraft with the little gnome bot. As I said, Norse mythology is a bit of a blind spot on my world religion myth radar. Can't help but think I've got to avoid this. Oh. Huh. Okay, that one's actually the same either way. Can't help but wonder if some of these are gonna actually come to life. It'll be kind of a multi...
The song. Balraven's song. It's over here. It's over here.
Is that? It's over there. No, it's here. There's two.
Listen, focus.
It's magic. It's magic. It's an illusion. She's been in the forest like this before.
This reminds her of something. The forest.
Where?
Which forest?
The forest in the wilds.
The wilds.
She left the wilds.
She went
I'm
to the
hearing a
wilds a
song
long
from
time
that
ago.
Why did she go to the wilds?
She wanted to fight her own darkness. She thought she could beat her own darkness.
Did she beat her darkness?
No. It nearly killed her, but she tried.
Druth. Druth helped her.
If it wasn't for Druth, she'd
She'd
be
be
dead.
She can't beat her own darkness. She wanted to marry Dillian.
She came to beat her own darkness and marry Dillian. But it didn't work.
She thought her curse would affect him.
She thought her curse would spread to him.
She thought she'd bring the darkness to him too.
She nearly died.
She thought the curse made her tainted.
Druth helped her.
Well, apparently that settles who Dillian was in relation to her. Love interest. Well, now I can't help but think that she was the one that killed him. Whether to spare him from a raid or, what purpose, I have no idea. No, that didn't work. Okay, did I miss that bridge before? Or... No, I think I did change the layout before. By walking through the one. Just not in the way I was anticipating.
Open it. Not from this side.
Ah, okay, now I can go through there again and get in there. Can't say I've ever seen a drawbridge like that, though. Oh, okay, I actually can get through there. How did I not notice that before? Yep, glad I went back here because another room.
The Northmen say that Odin has two ravens. Their names are Thought and Memory, and each day he sends them out to fly all across the world. Upon their return, they perch on his shoulders and tell him everything they have seen and heard. In this way, he learns of things far and wide, and for this reason, he is called the Raven God. Senua, like Odin, you must seek wisdom through thought and memory if you are to succeed in your quest.
Yeah, I'm not hearing the song over here, but it could very well be that both are diversions and just have to interact with them. Oh, duh. Okay. Gotta go back down, open the door, then I'll be able to get up there. Because the wall will then be completed. I will say this, it's mildly irksome that, you know, some of the animations take so long, but it's also fairly realistic in that they take that long. You know, trying to open a heavy metal door like that, not exactly an easy thing. Okay, good, that did remain intact. So is that bridge over there complete now?
The ravens.
The ravens.
They've gone.
They've gone.
No.
Half of them have gone.
Ah.
They've gone. Sounds still there.
But where? The sun's still there.
Are Raven's helping?
He's not helping.
It's a trick.
Quiet. I can't think. Out in the wilds. In the cold winter woods.
Where?
She no longer felt fit for this world. She almost gave in to the darkness. But she remembered Dillian's words. She remembered her promise. She resolved to fight on and kill that which had become part of her.
No? No? Huh. Okay, I did see a set of stairs back there that I don't think I've taken. Oh, maybe I did. Okay, I think I might have taken that before. Coming up, maybe. Yep, although, maybe I have to go through this one then. What the hell? Oh yeah, I don't think that was actually triggered before. Well, the question is, what does it trigger? One way to find out, I suppose. Assuming I went in the right way. Then again, maybe if that bridge is still gone. Okay, so it's only when it's actually looking. So maybe if I'm looking that direction. Nope. Alright, so the bridge vanishes if I go this way. So maybe that means this bridge will be repaired. Oh, it's looking ah, okay, there we go. Got a girder bridge. Or beam bridge, rather. That took longer than I would have usually liked to admit. Just glad I didn't have to break out the game facts for such a relatively simple puzzle. Getting that done before going through any more vision gates. Wouldn't be surprised if I have to go through one anyway. Oh god, the fires always trip me out in this thing.
The ravens. They've all gone. No.
There's three. There's three. Where have they gone? She did it. What does it mean?
Very sporting of these guys there.
I was so naive to think she could banish it on her own. The further she saw into the darkness, the more she struggled to see anything at all. And the gloom, the smallest hints of shape, sound, or thought, grow in strength until they consumed her whole. Before she knew it, the darkness had her in its claws.
Come on, I know this is the right one. Okay.
Broke. The gate is open. Opened. She did it.
There is no such thing as victory when it comes to the darkness. It's like it doesn't want to kill her. Yet, it will gnaw at her, biding its time. Only when she is at her weakest will it strike to kill. Will she find Dillian before her time comes?
One mark of failure so far. this? Oh, hey, he's actually, well, maybe up there? No? I mean, it looks like... Yeah, God of Illusion looks like generally doesn't add up too well. Probably beyond this door.
Overcome Valravan's final illusion to face him in his keep. I know you can do it, Senua. You have the sight.
We both see the darkness. We can fight it together.
Genuinely not sure what this one does. It's one of those where I'm kind of hesitant to go through.
Speak to me, Druth. Tell me a story.
Senua, listen. I will tell you the tale of a man called Findan. The Northmen captured Findan's sister, and his father sent him to pay for her release. But they took his gold, put him in chains, and held him for a day and a night without food or water. Then they released him. I don't know why. Upon his return, his father's enemies in Erin set fire to his home. His father burnt to death, and his brother was killed. But he escaped with sorrow in his heart. His father's enemies offered redress for his loss and invited him to a feast. It was at a hall near the sea. But when he went there, they betrayed him to the Northmen, who enslaved him and took him to hell. 6 years later, his slave masters landed on the shores of Orkney, burning all before them. And into that fire, Findan made his escape.
So is Druth Findan?
What was Findan burnt away that day. But from the flames, a new man stepped forward, and Druth was born.
Yep.
Druth. The man that I am now. And though Findan never set eyes on his dear sister again, I, Druth, have found you, Senua.
I wish you could have seen my home before these dark times.
My guess is I've got to go through it a second time in order to actually climb up. So we shall see. Yep. Oh. Nice of him to allow it there. I'm still not sure what goes on in this section. I mean, I realize that she's trying to keep her balance, but...
Broken. The gate is open. Open.
This darkness.
Whoa.
I know it from the wilds. It's coming back for me.
I'm still here. Are you too? Where are we? I remember. It didn't end well in the wilds. It never does. You think you can overcome the darkness, make sense of it, and once relief settles in, it strikes out of nowhere, throwing you helplessly back into the maelstrom, drowning the mind in fear, deeper, deeper, dragging you down so far into the void that maybe this time there is no coming back. But there, in the darkness,
Senua,
she remembered what he told her.
hear me. Reach out to me. Senua, take my iron mirror. Look into it, for it is a window into the underworld. Within, you will see the face of the darkness that you fear. And if you focus, like I have taught you to, you will also see that as much as the darkness has you trapped within its veil, it too is trapped within yours. Focus. Focus! Focus!
I see you! I see you now! You led me to the wilds! You trapped me there! Watch out!
Ooh. Shit.
Quickly get up! She's injured!
Eesh. Okay, was not prepared for that.
Where's he gone?
Okay, dashing towards him does not work.
It's not over. Stop it. Too slow. Behind you!
Thank you, helpful voices.
Finish it, strike.
Did I actually catch him mid? Shit.
Go.
Ooh. Spiffy move. Okay, do not dash in.
Beating him. She's beating him. She's nearly there.
Ah, dang it.
She will die.
Ow. Ouch.
Surprise! End it. No, it's nearly the end. You won. Too many of them. Find a good position. You let them find you.
No idea whether I've got more coming in, but...
You're stronger than that. Focus. Focus now.
Ah, okay. That's how the hell I kill him. The shadow things that appeared at the very start. Ouch. Oh, that's just...
You can do this.
Thankfully I... Oh!
I never beat you in the wilds, did I? It was an illusion. But not this time!
The Mark of Valravan. One of the keys to the gate to Helheim. Hold it in your mind's eye.
With every battle, the darkness grows stronger. Every victory bringing her closer to defeat. Unfair, isn't it? In those dark winter nights in the wilds, there were times when she considered letting go. If it weren't for Druth, a chance encounter in the wilds, she would not have heard his stories of the Northmen. And she would not have this chance to find Dillion's soul.
I'm coming. I still hear you.
I'm still trying to pin down exactly what region she was from. I was initially thinking Norse, but given how the Norsemen are depicted in this, doesn't ring true. Of course, for all I know, Dillion was a captive of hers and she fell in love with him or something. But then again, if she's a Norseman herself, Norse woman rather, yeah, that doesn't quite gel.
When she was younger, she would lay in the grass and stare at the clouds. And there she saw them. Elusive. Shifting faces. After a while, she could see the faces everywhere. The trees, the mountains, caves.
Okay, there's the eyes, but I'm not seeing an actual face. And I saw the one earlier, just haven't been able to find any since the waterfall. Though, granted, the waterfall was also very, very obvious. Kind of a peaceful run back, almost.
I wonder, can you see the faces too? They're there, if you look for them.
How did I miss that one?
Mother? Senua, you have the sight. Just like I do. Once you can see into the underworld and all the souls within it will see you. Don't be afraid when they speak to you. I will always be here to guide you.
Did you see her? That was her mother, Galina. She was a priestess, a healer. She taught Senua to see the weave that binds the world together. was beautiful. It was a time before the darkness. But when it did come, it first came for her mother. Senua still sees her face from time to time, hidden in the world. Like she's still watching over her. She misses her so much.
I do have to wonder whether all the faces will be obvious or not. Because on the one hand, it does feel nice to feel as a reward, but on the other hand, if it's actually giving you plot details, yeah, you kind of don't want to make those missable, if you can help it. I mean, that one was a big glowing, hey, I'm right here, so was the waterfall, so I'm kind of guessing there's one per area. How many areas, I'm not sure. From what I've heard, it's about 6 hours long, so probably like 6 to 8 areas, depending on how...
With the mark of Valravan and the mark of Surt, you may cross the bridge over the River of Knives to Helheim.
And I can't help but think that I did that out of order, given that hint coupled with
Why is she waiting?
Ruth's apparent death.
No, don't. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Don't open the gate. Don't.
She's done it.
Okay, not what I was anticipating.
It's so dark. It's dark. The dark.
Only the dead may cross.
Only the dead may cross into hell.
Oh, she's missing her makeup. Or war paint. Face paint. Catch-all term.
Truth? Anyone?
There is no one here but me.
Not you.
Did you think that I would let you go? That you lost me back in the wilds? I will never let you go. You can't get rid of me. I am your shadow. And I will be watching when you draw your last dying gasp.
I'm not ready to die.
You will be when you see what they did to your dear beloved.
Okay, so her home was definitely raided.
In this waking nightmare, where all dreams come true, you searched for control, a way to pull through. When you were in love, you left him in tears, to smother your furies and banish your fears. But in darkness they came, through stormy black seas they raided these shores. Do you still hear his screams? And now that you're home, he's so far away. They've taken his soul. To these gods you cannot pray. They can break you, but not your promise. Even death won't keep you apart. Through his darkness you will find him. In your sword still beats a heart. You fought for love unspoilt by your darkness within. You fought for your dreams. Now there's no way to win. In the head of his corpse lies the seat of his soul. So you must carry his vessel to bring him back home. They can break you, but not your promise. Even death won't keep you apart. Through this darkness you will find him. In your sword still beats a heart.
Ooh. I'm guessing that the voices in her head are the voices of her townspeople,
The
then.
darkness touched you. Everyone could see it in the hollows of your eyes. A gaze averted from life. You ran from it but brought it nearer. Led it to him. An endless suffering worse than death. And you wanted to surrender. Abandon and to find peace with the gods. No. The darkness won't allow it. So you will walk into the lair of the beast. Look it in the eye, and you will go to war. This is your mission. This is your quest. There is nothing else left.
Okay, it did at least take shape. Okay, I honestly didn't realize I could sprint all this
You're a
time.
warrior for a reason. It's your calling.
It's nearly over. Finish it.
Why suffer the past when there is a new road ahead? The only one that makes any sense.
Yeah, she's kind of on the warpath.
Another one. There's more. You defend yourself. Go. Finished. He's down. Finish it. Finish it. Strike.
Music kind of made me think of Teresa's Viking metal band. Granted, less on metal, more on Viking there.
Every gate you open into darkness brings another challenge.
I'm still trying to figure out who's talking to her. Could even be Dillian himself. Ooh, this is a bit of a bruiser.
She's hurt. She won't make it. He's too fast. She can still do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try repairing any of these. I think that would be pretty much suicide.
Take him down. Go! Fight again. Spill their blood. You won it. Behind you. Behind you.
Oh, good God! At least I got the sword up.
Behind you.
Oh, I'm like there. Oh, good God.
Finish this! End it now!
Whew. So many more darknesses do I have to fight? So let's see, I've died only once since that first battle. And admittedly there I had no idea what I was doing.
However you come to the gold-covered bridge that leads to Hell, you may find it guarded by a giantess. She will ask your name. She will ask your lineage. She will ask your business. The Northmen tell of the warrior woman Brynhild, who leapt into fire and rode to Hell to join her slain love Sigurd, and is challenged by the giantess.
Kinda want to hear more of that story. I mean, it rings vague bells, sure, but... Some fish SX.
The journey to Helheim is never a straight one.
Right.
Each must find their own path. Align yourself to its secrets, and you will find yours.
Oh, come on. The X is right there. There we go. Yeah, that one was a little more than obvious. Saw the S before. Oh, never mind. That's when I see the... That is a bright moon. I'm not entirely sure how to proceed because this door, yeah, it still doesn't open. Unless I have to go back to the bridge itself, but I kind of doubt that. Nope. Okay, what on earth am I seeing here? If there were any illusion gates to walk through, I'd go for one of those. Oh! Oh! Huh! Okay, interesting way to introduce a new mechanic. Or a twist on an old one. Yeah, I noticed that particular portion during the fight. Ah. Okay, it was pulling me up there, but... guess not. There we go. I was worried about passing right over it. Gee. And actually, yeah, the game's a little more blatant than I realized before. It's red when you're in the right area, and blue switches to blue when you've really got it on the mark. Okay, I'm thinking that this is going to lead to either another runestone or maybe Mother's face. Yep, Mother's face.
Oh, Senua. Your father does not hate me. He just fears the souls in the underworld. He cannot see that they are already afraid. But I am their healer, and I must answer their cries for help, even if it displeases him.
Looks like a lot of, no, I don't know if I was hitting the right key. But, yeah, looked like a lot of, kohl around her eyes. Kohl meaning really ancient eyeliner, essentially. Oh, I'm glad I decided to check that way. Oh, here we go.
Hela possesses large dwelling places in Helheim. Tall are her walls, high are her gates. The name of her dish is hunger. Her knife is famine. On her threshold all will stumble. Her bed is called sick bed, and her bed hangings are called flames of a funeral pyre. They say she is easy to recognize, half black and half the color of flesh, and her face menacing and grim.
Okay, wanted to make sure he didn't have anything more to say before I opened this door. Yeah, you gotta be a little particular in positioning. Alright, where's this giantess that's been built up a little bit?
The gate. It's opening.
I don't think the sword's gonna be handy here.
It's coming.
That song again.
Is it?
It's Hela.
Yes, the source of the darkness. It's coming. This is your moment.
Honestly, it looks like her mother.
I can't watch this.
What are you doing? You're showing weakness. You're not a warrior. You're a disgrace. The gods will punish you for this. Pick up the sword. Pick it up. Fight the darkness. Fight it. Get up.
Can't help but think that the
Get
voice of her
up.
father.
Get up and fight.
Oof, that is a rotted half body.
Stormy seas and lost souls. She's dreamt of this before. They say dreams are visions of our memories, thoughts, and fears, as seen by our inner eye. What if each one of us is always dreaming, even when awake, and we only see what our inner eye creates for us? Is this what hell is? A world shaped by Senua's nightmares? Maybe that's why people feared seeing the world through her eyes. Because if you believe that Senua's reality is twisted, you must accept that yours might be too.
You failed the gods. You're pathetic. Rotten. Cursed.
Yeah,
What were you thinking? Did you really think you could win? How stupid can you be?
So stupid.
Everyone hates her. She's cursed.
The shadow hates.
Look at you. A warrior. Worthless. Weak. Pathetic. Go on. Feel sorry for yourself, because there's no one left to do that for you.
Everywhere. You failed. What's that?
Take it. If you're too much of a coward to fight, then end the suffering. Broken and lost. Just like your soul.
Come on. There.
ooh,
Why go on when you give everything and face that which torments you, only to find that it is worse than you could have imagined? Why go on?
for others.
Is it really so weak to ask this? Or are we just so afraid of the honest answer that we do not dare pose the question? Sometimes the answer lies in a memory, a feeling, a song.
It's not real. It's a trick. It's not real. It is real. Listen to it.
Don't give up.
Dillian. It's
Not like this.
It's not real. It is real. It's a trick. Don't trust it. Maybe you're already dead.
Who are you?
Do you still believe in yourself?
No, it's not. It's a trick. She knows this. It's a trick. He's already dead.
Dillian.
He can't be here. It's impossible.
I kind of agree with the voice.
Come to me. Please.
The light. Go towards the light. It's him. There he is. It can't be him. It's just a trick. It's in your mind. No, he's here. It's in your mind. It's real. It's happening. Go towards it.
I kind of can't imagine that Hell would be doing a trick, but it could be someone or something else here. Yeah, she is banged up. Tend to go down here first, but what happened? And for whatever reason, it's literally wherever the mouse is pointing is where you run into. Unless you're going deliberately side to side. There's no angle running though.
There it is. You're imagining this. It's Dillian. He's gone. You were too slow. How could you? Keep going. How could you? Keep going. Ignore the pain. I told you it was to trick you. We told you. Where are you going? See, there's nothing to follow. Come.
obviously there is something to follow. Just a matter of whether we're correct in following it, but obviously that's also the only way to progress the game.
Before she first met him, she was not in a good place. Just a teenager, but not like the others. Barely functioning, she rarely left the house. Her father's in-bell made sure of that. Only occasionally did she venture out on her own, collecting firewood and herbs. Errands out in the Orkney Plains.
Orkney. Gonna have to look
That
that
was
up.
her world. Like this one. Barren and lonely.
Yes, so... As I said, years of playing RPGs have led me to... Is that the canoe she brought? No. Too well made. I'm thinking this way might lead to either a stone or her mother's face. Yep, mother's face.
Senua, there will be times that you will feel alone and exhausted, like a strange little fish swimming against the tides of the big ocean. But have the faith to let go and let the tide carry you away. Because the whole ocean is your home. It does not ask you to swim against it.
I get the distinct impression that, at the very least, Hela and her mother share the same face. And let's be honest,
It's already disappeared.
wouldn't be the first time a deity has descended to Earth to screw around with, literally screw around with mortals. Especially in the polytheistic
There
faiths.
he was. The lone figure of a boy. Swordplay under the shade of a tree.
He's there, under the tree.
She remembers the first time she saw him.
You have to keep Dillian.
To her young eyes, he moved as if dancing. And the world danced with him. The gloom lifted.
He's there.
For the first time in years, she felt
You can see him.
a ray of hope.
Is that a batch of new arrivals out there?
The Northmen tell of a great hero. His name is Sigmund. His father's hall was built around a great tree, and one day, Odin comes and thrusts a sword into the tree, a gift to whomever can release it. Many try, but the sword only comes out at Sigmund's touch. His brother-in-law, King Sigmund, wants it, but Sigmund refuses him, so King Siggeir plots revenge. He invites Sigmund and his brothers to a feast, but when they arrive, they are met with an army, not a warm welcome. King Siggeir captures Sigmund and his brothers, steals his coveted sword, and readies them for execution.
Well, I was gonna say they beat us to King Arthur, but, yeah, that took a bit of a turn. Yeah, I know this isn't gonna actually get up to there, but... here we go, that's what I was looking for.
Death for Sigmund and his brothers seems certain. But the king's wife is Sigmund's sister, and she begs for mercy and implores the king to chain them up instead. He agrees. Not for mercy, though, but because he plans an even more cruel and lingering death. Chained to a tree in the forest that night, a she-wolf comes and devours one of Sigmund's brothers. She returns, ravenous, night after night, until only Sigmund is left. The next day, Sigmund's sister sends a servant with honey to smear on Sigmund's face. But to what end?
To track the wolf?
Well, that night, when the she-wolf appears again, you'll never guess what happens.
Knowing Norse mythology, either it's to ward out the wolf or the wolf turns into a woman of the smell. Yeah, that's definitely Yggdrasil on that one. Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured they wouldn't allow that much of a drop. All the way back down. I'm genuinely not sure if that's behind or to the stone I found earlier. And 2. Yeah, well. Shouldn't take too long to get back down, at least. Plus, I now know that is a shortcut. Now, you regenerated a lot quicker in combat. Of course, you also didn't take a direct beating from a goddess before, so I guess that's the trade-off.
As the she-wolf licks the sweet honey from Sigmund's face, he bites the wolf's tongue. The she-wolf
Okay,
flies
that
away,
did not take the
but
turn I
Sigmund
figured.
holds on. The chains break, and he is free. After his escape, Sigmund lives like us, hidden in the forest. His enemy, King Siggeir, believing him dead, as his sister plots revenge. And for vengeance to succeed, even the great Sigmund needs help. So she sends her sons to him. But their blood is weak and corrupted, and they're put to death by Sigmund. So his sister hatches a new plan, one that is cold of heart and pure of blood.
That's a dick uncle. I mean, seriously, willing to help in the plan to overthrow their father, and Sigmund just kills him outright. What the hell? Readjusting the mic's position.
Day after day,
Sigmund's sister trades shapes with a sorceress, and in disguise, she lies with her own brother. She gives birth to a son named Sinfjotli. After a time, she sends him to the forest to Sigmund. He tests the boy and finds him strong and fearless, and so they go to take their vengeance on King Siggeir. But luck is not on their side. They're captured, and Siggeir has them buried alive.
Okay, I gotta admit that part doesn't surprise me as much as it probably should.
No, it's a trick. It's an illusion. It's not real.
That can't be Yggdrasil.
You want to believe it's real, but it's a trick. You're deluded. Where are you going?
Where is she going?
What is she following?
You can't even fight. It's just deception.
How does he so effortlessly court the world and bliss? If only she could do the same. See the world through eyes anew.
This is gorgeous.
Dance with it, just like he does.
Wow. I mean, seriously, this is beautiful right here.